Hello. This is an email from somebody who's called Prefer Not to Say. All right, they write, "Hi, I've got two things I'd like to address. First is what to do in this current confusing part of recovery. About 11 months ago, I developed anorexia and I became underweight. When I first started recovery, I was scared to eat a lot. I've increased a bit and I've gained a few pounds, but I still don't have my period. I'm not the weight I was before, although I feel even bigger. I feel like everyone I ask would tell me to keep on eating, but sometimes I feel full on X amount of calories and sometimes I'm still hungry on X amount of calories. From your video, you state that this is nowhere enough, the amount of calories I'm eating is nowhere near enough to recover. Why is it I'm full on this amount sometimes?" So that's the first question. And then second is, what should I be eating? My whole idea of food is completely fucked because whenever I visit my dad, him and my stepmother and siblings only eat a small breakfast and dinner and a lot at night because they're on a diet. Compared to them, I eat loads, though generally I only eat X amount of calories a day. Whenever I'm there, it's like I'm in a house full of people who are slaves to diet culture. I want to break free, but I feel so alone and I'm doubting everything. How can I maintain recovery in this environment? Sorry if this was all over the place. I feel like I've hit an awkward plateau where I'm not sure if I'm at the tail end of recovery or I have to completely start again. Any advice would be much appreciated. All right, well, the first question on why do you feel full on such a small amount of food is because a number of things happen to our digestive tract, stomach, all that stuff, when we're not eating enough food. The stomach doesn't actually shrink. It's a bit of a myth, but it loses elasticity because it's not being stretched enough. That's supposed to happen when we eat. And our stomachs are supposed to be elastic. That's a good thing. We want our stomachs to stretch out when we eat more food and we want them to come back, and it's actually the stomach coming back to its smaller size, apparently, that causes the physical feeling of hunger. So one of the things is that elasticity goes away. So you sort of have to train it a bit by making yourself feel really full. Eating a lot of food, and when you have a restrictive eating disorder, your brain exaggerates the feeling of full. So, like, if I ate a load of food right now and I feel full, I'll be like, feel full. But when I had an eating disorder, if I ate some food and I felt full, I'd be like, oh my God, I've eaten so much. I feel so full. I feel awful. It just make a big deal out of it. Whereas now I'd be like, I feel full. What's next? So what? So your brain kind of exaggerates it, and that's not helpful, is it? Because it makes you obsess over I must have eaten so much, and really it's just like you just feel a bit full. That's kind of like normal. People do that all the time. So just be aware that your brain will exaggerate it, and also be aware that you need to push yourself past fullness. You need to push yourself to keep on eating, because the reason that you're full on such a small amount is because your digestive tract isn't really functioning optimally. Another thing that happens when we don't eat enough food is something called delayed gastric emptying, which means the stomach doesn't clear itself as regularly as it should do. And so therefore you got stuff sitting there for a bit longer than it would normally if you actually had a healthy digestive tract. And so by increasing the amount you eat and providing your body with more fuel, it's because your body doesn't have enough fuel that it's been slowing down the emptying of the digestive tract. By providing it with more fuel, you're going to speed that up again. So another reason why you actually have to push yourself to eat. And you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world to make yourself eat until you're really full. It's really not that bad. Compared to a lot of things that people who are in medical crisis have to go through, it's really not a big deal. So don't whine about it too much. It's just eating, and you're just going to feel full, and you're just going to have to deal with it. The other thing that you asked was, your dad and your stepmother always kind of like being on diets. That's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. It's unfortunate for them because diets don't work. And what will just happen is, well, let's not go into that, but it's unfortunate that they're for their bodies that they're on a diet. It's unfortunate for you that you have to be surrounded by that. But another thing that your brain does when you have a restrictive eating disorder is that anything to do with food or diet or what other people are eating or exercise, what other people are doing, your brain is all over that stuff like a rash. It's just like, that's my business and I've got to think about it all the time, and why are they doing that and why shouldn't I? It's just like, it's so tiring, but it's one of the things that your brain does when you don't have enough food, when you have a restrictive eating disorder. So just keep reminding yourself that there's plenty of things that you do differently from your parents right now. Are you going to cut your hair the same as your stepmother? Are you going to worry that you're not wearing the same clothes as them? Why the fuck are you worried that they're eating differently from you? The funny thing about being a teenager, which I'm assuming that you are, I don't know why, but I think you are, is that most of the time you just want to do the exact opposite of what your parents are doing anyway. So if that be the case, then they're on a diet, you should be the exact opposite of that. If they're counting calories, stuff yourself full of food. You know, like that's what we do when we're teenagers, right? There's probably plenty of things that your parents do differently that you don't agree with, but you don't sit there and worry about it and think I should be like them. You probably think, fuck them, I'm not going to do the same as you do, you're not the boss of me. So it's just because you have an eating disorder, your brain's like, oh, food, they're eating less than I am. Oh, that must mean something important. It doesn't mean anything important. In fact, just use it to be like, yeah, that means that I should do not what my parents tell me. And I should, oh, by the way, I should put a disclaimer. If you're a teenager watching this, I'm not telling you to not do what your parents tell you. I'm just using it as an example. Don't want to get in any trouble with parents. Anyway, you know what I mean, right? So your parents are on diets. Don't do what they do. You don't have to do what they do. That's what parents are for, is not for not doing what they do. Sometimes. Although, to be fair, my mum was most right about most things. And the older I get, the righter she gets. Like, even things she told me when I was a teenager, and now she was right. It's just the way it goes. All right, hope that helps. Bye.